Today's day one. Day one of my new challenge. Yesterday, day 31, I sat in front of Lowe's, in front of the tiny house, and I talked about the framing or the box of not knowing what that was. I have my new frame and I have my new box and my new container I want to work within. My first one was a 30-day challenge, 30 days of reps of turning the camera on and recording each day. This morning, just like every morning, I sit down with my water, my book light, my journal, my chair, my quiet time, and I do my reflecting on the day. This morning, it came crashing down. There was this huge collision. Not a crashing down, but this collision of a couple of books I've been reading and some frameworks. And so I wanted to share those with you today. So if I look at the titles there, Essentialism, Atomic Habits, Wisdom of the Bullfrog, and then Whole Part Whole. That's not a book, that's mine. First one is Essentialism. And Essentialism talks about we got to prioritize. And they talk in the book about ranking things 0 to 90, and if it's not a 90% or more, it's not considered. So it must be a hell yes or it's a 0. So focusing on the important parts and finding out what those are and labeling those and only giving energy to those things. The next one was Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits talks about small daily actions lead up to wins. And we tie those daily actions of new actions to a previous habit. For instance, stretching with brushing your teeth. For me personally, it's listening to a YouTube video or a podcast or a audio book while I do the dishes every night and put them in the dishwasher, or listening to a podcast or a audio book while I'm driving and having that conversation with myself and listening. These small daily actions start to add up, and you tie them with something that you normally already do. It leads me and reminds me of Charlie Rocket. If you've not looked into Charlie Rocket, I encourage you to look up Charlie Rocket. He talks about stacking your wins. Getting up and making your bed is a win. Simple little things. Next was the Bullfrog. The wisdom of the Bullfrog in the Navy SEALs. He talks about in his book, one of his chapters is, who dares wins. Be audacious. Attempt something big and try to go solve it. As he started to look at that and consider that, he did some research and actually wrote a paper on it, and he talked about he did some research and found out that it was also the ones who plan and prepare the most and first win more often than not. We don't even know about the amount of work and prep and scenarios that the Navy SEALs look at and consider before they go off on a mission. We end up hearing about the mission and seeing the results of the mission and the excitement and the energy, but how much work went into it before? So preparing and doing before. My 30-day reps on the camera was my preparing and my doing. This brings me to my framework. As a coach and teacher, I've used this in my entire career. The whole part whole. You start with the whole, and a lot of times we start a project and we see this big, huge, grand scale, and we start to look at it, and then we have a hard time figuring out, where do I start? And before long, we're paralyzed and we can't move forward. But if we go back to the essentialism principle of what do we focus on? For me, 31 days ago, it was the camera challenge. And I did it day after day after day. So you focus on the parts and you break them down into skills, and then you take and develop those habits till they become habits, and you tie them with other habits and they become routine. And you do your planning and your preparing. And before long, you look up and the whole thing is there broken down into skills. And so then how do we get better? The Jessi Jean Yap Challenge right now, Jessi Jean talks about you get better by reps over research. So I think about it, and I think about, how do I gain confidence? I don't gain confidence by talking about it. I don't gain confidence by reading or taking notes. I don't gain confidence by planning. I gain confidence one way. Just like as a basketball coach, more games. Robotics coach, more matches, more tournaments, more practices. You only gain confidence by reps. So I'm going to continue my reps this next month. Today is day 1 of my next 30 days. This is going to be minimal filming of each day, no editing, and then take that and post it on YouTube. I will add captions to it. That'll be one of the editing features I'll do. But minimal takes, no edits, post to YouTube. I hope you'll follow along with me here. See you tomorrow.